This very amazing and interesting Two of Clubs day. This is the card that we have had this year in the United States as the Uranus card, which makes it a it made it a very interesting year because the Two of Clubs sits Saturn Uranus, and that's a conjunction. That means that these two planets are together and they're pulling from each other, right? So think of Saturn and think of Uranus. Whenever we think about those two planets together, we think about changes, right? Most people don't necessarily want Saturn or Uranus, much less have those two together. But today is the Two of Clubs, and that's the energy of the Two of Clubs. And twos are ruled by the moon. So twos naturally are looking for that union, looking for the communication, looking to build, looking to do the things that they're able to do inside of a relationship, right? But it's emotional because it's the moon, and we know that the moon has an ebb and a flow. So twos will have that ability to be able to communicate, but you add that clubs onto it, and it's definitely through a much broader spectrum because clubs cover it all. Communication with clubs is broad. It's like when you think of clubs, you're thinking there's above and below and everything in between. So the Two of Clubs has a vast knowledge, a lot of information inside of that too. But the thing of it is, when Uranus and Saturn come together, that means you have to be someone that is able to vibrate that energy, because that's tricky energy. For me, that energy requires cooperation. It requires thinking things out. You're looking at Uranus, and Uranus is the biology of things. So when we look at the biology of a thing and we're communicating, we got to be mindful that we're not going inside of someplace and we're starting something before we have assessed the situation, right? So the Two of Clubs today will want to communicate. There will be lots of communication, and because this is the last Two of Clubs of the year, to me it's like a culmination of energy. The things that have happened this year that fell under Uranus, it came through that Two of Clubs, came through our communication. It came through the different moon cycles were extremely powerful this year. They would be. They would be. That Two of Clubs is sitting in Uranus. So the moons and the eclipses took on a whole different kind of energy field. There was a hint of Uranus in there with that Two of Clubs in the United States, right? Because the cards in the United States, when these planets and these configurations are happening, these cards are activated. These cards are working. These cards are doing things. So that means that they're doing things inside of us. That means that things that are happening inside of our home, which is a part of Uranus, the groups that we belong to, the organizations that we belong to, those things are going to be affected. So we saw a lot of that this year with that Two of Clubs. The thing about Saturn and Uranus together, they work well. They are very good when they're cooperating because the structures and the changes need to be done. So when you're working together to make things better, yeah, it's a good energy, but that doesn't happen all the time. Saturn can be stuck, doesn't want to change. It could have worked so long and worked the way Saturn wanted it to work. And it's like, why would I change? It takes so much to change, right? And then Uranus comes along and it's like it needs a change. It's not benefiting the whole anymore. It's not benefiting the collective anymore. And we saw a lot of that this year. But that undercurrent that comes, that fire, that charge that comes from Uranus, it has to know that it's going to benefit the change too. Sometimes both of those egoic planets, those outer slow moving planets, can be very low vibrational in people, right? Because you feel like things need to change. You can have someone come into a group, into an organization, and believe what they're saying is more valuable, more important, more beneficial than that group, and it can destroy the whole thing. You know, they can cause so much trouble and so much upheaval that people just walk away. People just give up because it's not beneficial for them. That's Uranus, right? The structures do need to be changed, but people are looking at the biology of it and they're trying to make the change from there. So Saturn and Uranus can be a very tricky energy. We're looking at Roe v. Wade, and it makes sense that this happened this year. The Two of Clubs is in Uranus. The Supreme Court is in Uranus. We are in Uranus, right? For all intents and purposes, whenever we come together, we're coming together in that ninth house, right? And the energy field that was there was all it was set up for this. It was definitely set up for a change. That's Uranus. The Two of Clubs in Uranus is saying the eventuality of a change, and the change came at the end of the year, right? This is the end of the year for the United States. The end of the fiscal year is now. So things had to be done. Things had to wrap up and had to make sense to whatever they were doing. And this made sense to them. Uranus was saying you can't no longer do this. You have to do it differently. This is, if you're looking at the whole scheme of things, the political part of it is politics. But if you're looking at the part of it that is looking at the way that people are functioning inside of Roe v. Wade, it wasn't a functioning, it's not a very great thing. It's not. It's not. There's a lot of education that's lacking. There's a lot of things that are lacking in there. This is something that's a hot button, but is a lot of education around this, a lot of things that are happening, because it's never just as simple as I want to take care, I want to have the rights to do what I want to do with my body. That opens, the universe is now got a list, okay? When you say stuff like that, you have opened yourself up for a lot, and people are not taught that. That the things that you say now got to go under scrutiny. You, individually, not the United States. You got to go under scrutiny now because you're making statements like that I have autonomy over my body. Now you got to prove it. What does autonomy over your body looks like? What does that look like? Autonomy of your body does not look like ending at an abortion table. It doesn't. That's not good. You have whatever you have, do whatever you want inside of the confines of your home, your family. That's not something that you want to talk about out here on Front Street. It's not. That is a lot of karma attached to it. Whether or not you want to believe in karma or not, it is. That's a very karmic situation. And the fact that people don't are not taught about karma on that level, because no one should be standing up outside saying, I have a right to do X, Y, and Z. No, you don't. You don't have a right to stand outside and say you have that right. You have a right to be with you and your higher consciousness. You have a right to be with you and whoever it is that you're with and have these intimate conversations. These are not front street conversations, because now you're going to be scrutinized. You're going to be scrutinized because if you think the end game is that I just want to have this safety net of having an abortion is good, that's problematic. The universe is going to have a different conversation with you. Your practices, the things that you do, all of those things can be scrutinized. This is karmic law. Karmic law is what it is. Everything that we say is a cause and effect. Words are spells. The things that we say are happening in real time. They're happening in real time. So you saying, I have a right, I have sovereignty over my body, takes you to a whole different energy field. Because you do. You do have sovereignty over your body. You have sovereignty over yourself. That has nothing to do with the Supreme Court. Nothing. The fact that this today is Saturn Uranus, which is structures. That's what the government does. The government puts up structures. The government does things to make things work, right? and we vote those people in the office. All the politics and everything ends up the way it ends up because of the way it started out, right? So the structures have to be changed, the way we do things have to be changed. Uranus comes along and says, okay, it needs to be changed. Now you don't agree that Uranus says, I'm changing it. You had to get in this game a long time ago to know where this was going and not at the end. After Uranus has now knocked and tore things down, it's not the time. Now I wanna get in the game. This is the distraction that happens in the world when this kind of energy comes together. Because this is something that is, if you look at the United States chart, you see all of these things happening. This is not the only thing that is going to, and there have been many things that have come down, right? Many things that have been eradicated. Many things that have come along. That's what happens with Saturn Uranus. That's what happens with our cards and our astrology charts. You got to get in the game and understand the game and not be a part of the distraction after things happen. That's kind of like wasted time. Now you want to fight. You want to fight things when you got to get into that energy field of receptivity. There are things that have to change, and whether or not you like it or not, the universe said it had to change. We don't have to agree. The universe, we're here. What reasons are we here for? Today we can discover that. We can discover with the Two of Clubs in our communication. We can discover in how we go about things. Are you someone that when people are together that you come along and you always got to have something to shake stuff up? Do you always see stuff differently than everybody else? Sometimes it's not beneficial. Uranus is not the boss. Not. Uranus can be the old man in the shoe. It can be a troublemaker. It can be someone that's defiant. It could be someone that's riddled with mental illness. It could be someone that doesn't deal with the things it needs to deal with. It's the ninth house. It's your philosophy. Who are you to say that your philosophy is better than the greater good? That's Uranus. People that are ruled by Uranus can be very dark. They can be very dark. They can spend a lot of time inside of their head and they can deal with mental illness, right? I'm sorry, not the ninth house, the 11th house. They can deal with mental illness. They can deal with things that are apparent to them, that are apparent to people in a different way. So today we can hear people talking and we can be like, yeah, but no, I don't agree. And it can turn into a full-blown argument, right? This is a very volatile energy. This is not the day where you want to get into political. I mean, you're going to see all kind of stuff on TV and arguments and fights and shootings. And people are gonna that want to take advantage of this. They're gonna stoke the flames because this can be a very disagreeable energy. Think about all of the things that you've done. That's Saturn. You want to stand out today. You want to be recognized today for being that power person. It's like you want to stand there and say, I'm about this life. I've done this. Now you want to sit and have a meeting with someone and say, this is my resume. This is my portfolio. And they look at it and they're like, yeah, I see it, but it's still not there. It's still not what we're looking for. And you go and you fix it. Or else you decide, no, I just want to blow stuff up. Since y'all don't want to see me for who I am, I'm going to destroy everything. That's Saturn Uranus. You don't have to agree. But if someone is saying that they don't see what you're seeing, Uranus can't come along and say, well, since you don't see what I'm seeing, I'm going to destroy everything. That's the energy of today. The energy of today is through our communication. Are we going to listen? Are we going to pay attention? Or are we going to be disruptive? Are we going to be disruptive? Saturn conjuncting Uranus, Saturn square Uranus, Saturn, anything Uranus can be very deadly, right? Those two planets coming together can be the clash of the titans. So we don't want to get into that energy field today. We want to look at how we have got to the place that we've got to. We want to look at how we have become who we are. The things that we believe. Are they really beneficial? Are they really true? Are you still in your trauma? If you're still in your trauma, if you're still attached to trauma, think about if you have a trauma that you haven't healed and you come inside of a group, an organization, a setting, anything that is ruled by Uranus, something triggers you and you just like, oh wow, this is not right. Yeah, but it's not that the thing isn't right, it's that one of your traumas have been triggered. What I love about cardiology is when those triggers happen, it's saying go inside. It's saying go inside and really look and see what's happening and how you can fix it. It's not telling you to be disruptive. That is never beneficial. It's never beneficial for you to be disruptive. You don't want to be known as that person. You don't want to not get a job. You don't want to not be on boards and things because people know what kind of person that you are. It's going to follow you. So the trauma and stuff that comes up inside of you needs to be healed, and that would be your Mercury card. Your Mercury card has a lot of trauma attached to it, and when we look at the Two of Clubs, we know it's the King of Clubs is a Mercury card. And it's Uranus, Uranus. So think about the trauma when it comes up for the Two of Clubs. Think about their Mercury. Think about their childhood. They would have had some powerful people in their childhood that were strict, right? Because they had to. When you have a court card as your Mercury card, it's a strong indication that you needed to be taught how to function out in the world. And because it's Uranus, yeah, you had to be taught how to function out in the world. So the Two of Clubs, more times than many, would have had a very strict childhood, right? They would have a very strict childhood. But because they have a strict childhood, do they think did they like that this childhood was strict? No. Who does? Nobody likes that their childhood was strict, so they could be in their feelings all the time about their parents, about their siblings. But you got a King of Clubs in Mercury. So you came here with a lot of power. And you came here with a lot of ability to disrupt the home. Think about that. Think about the disruption of a Two of Clubs child, right? Think about it. Think about the power that they had as a child. So today is a great day for us to see, visualize, go through the things that we go through, see how we communicate, see how see what people say about you. Because this is what's going to be seen today. It's the 10th house. People are going to see you. When you put yourself out there in the world today, people are going to see you. They're going to say, oh, okay, I see you. Yeah. But then when the covers come off, Saturn and Uranian people can be very destructive. Yeah, they can be. They can be very destructive because they believe that they're doing what they're doing and may not necessarily understand that it has to be for the greater good, right? So today's a day to test it out. Today's a day to test out your communication skills. See how you communicate. Find that middle ground and see how it feels. Today is a day to find that middle ground. Today is a day to find out how to cooperate. Today is a day to see how the biology is affected when you come around. Biology runs through the workplace, it runs through the organizations, the fraternities, it runs through everything. See how it is affected when you show up. And that's where you can start. That's where you can discover who you are. You can discover who you are through the eyes of other people, through how other people receive you or don't receive you. And you can also do it with the people who come around you today. Do you see people and you're like, oh Lord, here they're coming? Yeah. Those people are disrupting the biology of the thing, right? So test it out today on this great Two of Clubs day. Very powerful, potent energy. And we're at the end of the year for the United States. So there's going to be some disruption today. Absolutely, there will be disruption today. Absolutely. Because why? The universe is lined up for it. The universe is doing what it's doing. These planets are doing the work that they're doing, and we're participating on this level. We're dealing with principalities. These planets are principalities. They're doing the work that they're doing. They're moving and shaking, ebbing and flowing, and we get a chance to learn through the metaphysical sciences how to take advantage of days like today. If you cooperate today, if you get to your highest vibration today, the universe will dance at your feet. Why? It owes you. You want the universe to owe you something. You want to be detached from the mundane world as much as you possibly can, because the universe will dance at your feet. Today is a day to test it, fam. Step out there into the world and see how it feels to cooperate. And have a great day, fam. Peace.